Howdy, folks. So for today's movie review, um, I'm going to do Cowboys and Aliens. I just saw it on opening weekend. Here's the movie review. Um, Cowboys and Aliens. For those of you who have not seen this movie and you want to know what it's about, here's the storyline. So, Daniel Craig, he plays a cowboy, and he wakes up in the middle of nowhere with a um, wristband of some kind, and he has no idea what it is. He tries to get it off, no use. Um, these cowboys who are wandering the land encounter him. They think that he's trying to pick on them because he's doing the whole "I don't know who I am, how did I get here" type of a deal. Um, he steals their clothes. He beats them up. He does whatever he can to figure out what happened to him. So he ends up going to a town and he tries to find some answers. He's hoping somebody in the town can help him out. Um, it does turn out that there is an alien race close to this town in the Old West, and they are in charge of the bracelet that he has. Um, the aliens try to attack this town, and he figures out that this little wristband can shoot lasers out of it, and it makes him more strong, more powerful as far as weapons go compared to everybody else because it's more powerful than the Old West pistols that the Cowboys used. Um, so this film, aliens invade the town, they attack it, they destroy it. People get taken away by these weird rope things that the aliens shoot out from their ships, and they're taken away, and the people of the town want to know what happened to the people that they love. Um, so the remaining cowboys who survived, including Daniel Craig and now Harrison Ford, who's the leader of this gang that used to be bad of cowboys. Um, so they go on this quest, try to figure out where everybody is. They do find the alien base, and your whole Cowboys versus aliens battle begins, as well as Daniel Craig finally figuring out why he has that wristband. So this film is called Cowboys and Aliens, but in a way it is Cowboys versus Aliens, and that's I think why a lot of people are calling that right now the title of the movie, even though it's not the title of the movie. It's just called Cowboys and Aliens. Um, this film is okay. For me personally, I didn't think it's not good enough for me to recommend it. It's the aliens look cool, the Old West settings look cool. The look of the film was cool. I liked the cast that Jon Favreau, who directed the film, hired to portray this story. Olivia Wilde was great. Daniel Craig was great. Um, the action sequences I wasn't too blown away by. There is worse movies out there that have worse action scenes than this film, but it's not. Once again, it's not something I would actually recommend to somebody. Um, Another flaw of the film is the storyline itself was a bit bumpy. There was scenes where I was like, okay, I like the movie. Now I don't like the movie. Now I like this movie. Now I don't like this movie. Now I like this movie. It was very bumpy like that, and I think when you're making a movie about the Old West and taking on the sci-fi genre at the same time, you got to figure out something. This film's taking place in the Old West. The aliens are an element of that Old West story. I'm sticking with that. Or you can say, I want to focus more on the sci-fi portion of the story. Old West will be the element of the story and not the main subject. And I felt Jon Favreau couldn't quite decide which direction he wanted to go. There were scenes where it was pure sci-fi or pure Western. There was scenes where it's just in the Old West for a while and we don't see the aliens for quite some time. There's scenes where it's, like I said, it's just pure aliens and barely any Old West at all. Another flaw I had with the film is if I were to take on this kind of a story, I would almost think the Cowboys would be almost shocked and almost kind of in disbelief about this technology that the aliens have. I mean, from what I got out of this story, it sounds like it's kind of taking place in this. Here, let me get rid of this quick. Kind of taking place in like this old 1800s Old West. And that being said, computers were hundreds of about 100 years away still, 170 years away, I should say. Like 1970s when Bill Gates made the computer or whatever. Um, yeah, if I were directing this movie, I would almost want the Cowboys to be like, "Oh my God, what is this? I mean, what's a computer? What's this wristband?" I mean, in this film, they're just like, "Oh, look, there's a computer. Don't know what that is yet, but it's a computer, and I know what it is." And it's just like I don't think people would believe in that stuff at the time. Um, I don't know. Even though Olivia Wilde was very good in this film, I don't quite know what her character was. Was she human? Was she half alien, half human, an alien disguised as a human? They never quite got into detail about that. Um, Harrison Ford, he was another problem I had with this movie. If you're going to go so far as to hire Harrison Ford for your movie, you better make sure that you make a pretty dang good movie. I mean, this man was in Indiana Jones and Star Wars and a bunch of other great films, and they put him in a role where you don't even know if he's good or bad. I mean, at the beginning of the film, you're like, oh, he's this bad guy running this gang of evil cowboys, and later on in the film, he realizes that he's a good guy. And it's just like, it didn't quite work out that well for me. So Cowboys and Aliens, I really can't recommend this movie. I mean, it was okay in some cases. Like I said, I love the scenery and the look of the aliens, the look of the cowboys. Um, it was one of those things where it's kind of cool to look at, but it's not like Iron Man cool, like what Jon Favreau directed with both the Iron Man movies. Character development wasn't too great. I'm pretty big on that, and this film didn't quite make it my expectations with that. Um, Another problem I have with this movie is just like, out of all the places this could take place in, why the Old West, besides the fact that you're making a movie about cowboys and aliens? I mean, that's the only reason why this film takes place in the Old West at all. Um, so yeah, Jon Favreau really needed to work on the script if he really wanted to make this movie, and I personally felt this film had way too many flaws for it to be released to theaters. Cowboys and Aliens, not so good. Probably okay, maybe a very weak 7 out of 10 going on to a 6. Um, I can't really recommend it. It's a pretty mediocre film.